And this is the empowering piece, ladies. This is the piece where we start to empower each other. It does not matter where we come from. It does not matter what our moms did and did not do. It does not matter. I'm still standing, and I am the woman that I want to be, despite all those things. So I have to tell you that piece, because if you're going through something at home, or you're still dealing with that thing from when you was a kid, now you have somebody that's standing in front of you that's telling you, yeah, that happened to me too. But I kind of have 4 businesses, have some real estate, I have some things that I acquired because I worked so dang on hard to not be what I had to overcome.
Glad I finally got the opportunity to sit down with you today. I would like to start off. Would you tell me a little bit about your childhood?
Born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina, the 48 area. So that's down Bluff Road, which a lot of people talk about 48 and they speak of all the things that happened there. Not so much now, but when I was a kid, 48 was known widely throughout the entire city just by those 2 numbers. So some fun, but also some bad stuff in that area as well.
What is it? Describe 48 for those who don't know. I know 48. I'm very familiar with it, but tell us a little bit about the neighborhood.
Well, you know, it's a mix of family, but also a mix of drugs and alcoholism, the hole in the wall places, if you will. That's what people call a lot of the places individuals hang out in the evening, hole in the wall. But it's a lot of drugs there. When I grew up, most of my friends, our generation, our parents were either drug addicts or alcoholics. So it's widely known for that. Especially where the part I'm from, we have a couple corridors where that's what you know. So when you say the word 48, it's typically thought of as a bad place, right? The hood, or a place you shouldn't go if you're not from the area. If you're not from 48, then you probably shouldn't come down.
What are some of the things that you did as a child to overcome that, or to not get caught up in that?
Well, school is my saving grace. I was really tied into my books, but I played basketball, and basketball saved my life. I played ball so much that I didn't have time to really interact in all the bad things that were going on, because between high school ball and travel ball, there's no time. You're literally playing AAU basketball all summer, and during the school year, you play multiple sports so that you're prepared for basketball season. So for me, it was getting educated and playing basketball. That's how I stayed out of the drama and the trouble and the things that the area is frankly known for. I played basketball, and that saved my life. Oh, man. God gives us gifts, and the first gift that he gave me that I noticed, and I want you to pay close attention to the gift that I noticed. The first gift that he gave me that I noticed was the basketball. And that basketball became a driver in my life, and it gave me a freedom. It took me away from some of the things that I went through as a child, and it covered me, if you will. But it was the first gift that God gave me that I noticed. And that gift started to open up doors for me. It started to create opportunities for me. Basketball led me. If it were not for basketball, I don't think I would have had the academic success that I had in school. But also, I don't think I would have survived my environment.
Yeah, right.
So the first gift that God gave me was a basketball.
Tell me a little bit about your experience in corporate America.
Corporate America. So it's good and bad, right? One of my things is I excelled in my corporate career. I did very well, but I got to a place where I was morally challenged and things started to shift for me. I'd always had a passion to be an entrepreneur, so working in the corporate arena, I worked with only individuals that own their own businesses. So I learned a lot. It was very fulfilling. I was really good at my job. So in the midst of learning, I was enjoying what I was doing. And essentially, all I did was I helped businesses make more money. that was my job. We went in, we consulted, and we helped businesses become more successful. Successful businesses becoming more successful is what our job was. So it was great. But then I got to a point around year 7 in my career where I was just morally challenged by some things and was ready to shift gears and invest more of my own time into myself. In corporate America, you're working 50 to 60 hours a week. It's almost impossible to be successful working for yourself when you're working for someone else 50 to 60 hours a week. So I just got to a place in my corporate career, while it was great, it was coming to an end, and it was time for me to shift into entrepreneurship. So God had something in store. So he took that gift away from me. I was devastated. But he had another gift, a greater gift, a gift that got me closer to my purpose. He gave me the gifts of corporate America. And he gave me a job that I loved so much. And it reminded me of basketball. So while I was working every day and building a career for myself, I realized that I was still playing the game. It was just on a different court. So I kept playing. And while I lost one gift, God had given me a better gift, because that gift had started to shift me to the direction I'm in right now. Within 9 years had passed, and I had done my work, and I think I did everything God needed me to do. And I woke up one day, and I said, God, I'm ready to start my entrepreneur career, but I'm scared because I won't have a consistent paycheck coming in. But I prayed for entrepreneurship, so when God told me to move, I didn't move when he told me to move, so he pushed me. He pushed me out of that corporate job. And it didn't feel good, so I fought again. I said, Lord, now I love this job. I'm really good at this job, and it pays me what I feel I should be paid, and I don't want to move. But somewhere in the midst of that, she said, well, you prayed for this, and now it's shifting. So I was shifting again.
You currently are doing a lot of speaking engagements and different events. What are some of the things you want to leave with people? What are some of the nuggets, some of the philosophies that you're talking about?
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest thing for me and the group of people that work with me is to inspire and to leave people with hope. A lot of the people that we're speaking to, they're missing those things. So the hope has been taken away for one reason or another. It could be because of something they've done, or it could be because someone has done something to them. So the biggest thing for us when we're speaking to people and we are out and we have a group of women or a group of men and women, it doesn't matter gender, but our goal is to inspire and to create hope for those people that are not in a space where they're still hopeful. I believe that if you lose hope, then you're already dead. So there's no need to get up in the morning, because we need that to get from point A to point B. So the biggest thing is to inspire and to create hope.
How would you define success?
Well, success is different for different people. What success for me very well could be different for you, right? So for me, success isn't wrapped into finances. Success for me is being happy. I need to be happy. So all the work that I do, it aligns with my happiness. My friends, my family, I make sure that the time that I spend with them, it aligns with my happiness. So for me, success is about being happy. And what does that mean? And if you're super successful, right, the money will come, I guess. That's what I've always been told. If you walk and you work in your purpose and your gifts and your purpose, then doors will open. So for me, it's about being happy and giving back. What makes me happy in my work is being able to touch people, being able to talk about shifting and a shifting season for them and preparing them. That makes me happy. That gives me internal joy. So it's beyond what you see on the outside. So I have cars, I have houses, I have things, but those things don't make me happy. So for me, success is being happy and doing what makes me happy.
Okay. You've founded and you currently are running several businesses. Could you tell me a little bit about those businesses?
Okay, I'll start with the nonprofit. So Dreamcatchers Foundation, we work solely on helping children build character and teaching entrepreneurship. A lot of times in our families, especially African American families, we tell our kids, you got to go to college, go into the military, or you need to get a good job. But we never say, or you can become an entrepreneur. You can own your own business. We never teach them that if they work within their purpose and their gifts, that they can actually own their own businesses. So for me, I like to teach children that option, so that we give them 3, but we never give them the 4th option. And it's very important in this climate. Many children are graduating from college and they're not getting jobs. And we've never said to them, well, you can actually work for yourself. So that's a big one with Dreamcatchers Foundation. There's DMR Fashion, which stands for Definitive Movement Rebellion. DMR, Definitive Movement Rebellion. DMR is my clothing line, and I actually have a brick and mortar clothing store in Columbia, South Carolina. And DMR was created to affect change. During the time that I created the name DMR, we had a lot of things going on in the world. So black men were being killed. It seemed like every week, every 2 weeks, a black man was being killed by a police officer. So I asked myself, how do we affect change? What do we do? How do we jump in? During this time, Black Lives Matters is huge. But it was starting to be flooded by media, right? It started to kind of be overseen, but yet seen. So for me, I'd already had a retail store I was a partner in a retail store in Washington, D.C., and we sold a lot of highline fashion. If you see Jay-Z, we sold what Jay-Z would wear, right? So I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to start a clothing line, and I'm going to create a line that has a meaning, create clothing with a consciousness. So we started making pieces that made people think. You're going to put on a t-shirt, you're going to put on a hoodie. So we started creating items that literally made people think, and we connected Black Lives Matters and all the things that were happening to black men during this time. So our most popular piece, and it's still our most popular piece, is we created a power fist. And in that power fist, it was created of all the names of the men who have been killed by police officers. And I can't tell you at this point how many t-shirts, sweatshirts we sold just with that message. And we didn't put anything else on it. It was simply a power fist with the names of men that have been killed by police officers. We left that and we started creating pieces like King and Queen, Black Girl Magic. Man, we just started creating pieces that would consciously appeal to people, that evoke emotion. So DMR, that's how it's created. Now we sell sneakers, we sell a little bit of everything, but we still stay very close to the meaning, and we create pieces still so that people can be conscious of what's going on in the world, especially in the African American community. There's Children of Tomorrow. I own daycare. And I started daycare because of my son. I had my first child, was 31. And I went to 11 daycare centers, and I simply could not find the center that appealed to me how I needed it to. I found one center that I loved, but the cost was just, it was more than my mortgage, put it that way. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna create daycare. And that's how I did it. I literally went to the daycare centers. I took a little bit of everything I liked from each center, and then I added what was missing in which I wouldn't enroll my child. And I created my own daycare center, which is Children of Tomorrow Learning Center and Child Care. So that kind of wraps up what I do. I'm an author. I forget that part, right? I'm a published author, and the book is doing well. We've had several groups of people that we've been able to talk to and just get direct feedback. So the book is doing very well. It's loosely based on my life. And I think that is why it's doing so well, because so many people can relate to it. I think it doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, or a young adult, they're going to be able to relate to some part of the book. And the title is What Becomes of a Broken Soul. And you can get that on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble. If you're ever in Columbia, South Carolina, 617 Lady Street, you can also purchase the book out of the store, DMR Fashion. But it relates to everybody. It tells a story for every individual. So I think that's a huge part of the success for What Becomes of a Broken Soul. And in that shift, I said, you know what, God, I'm going to stop fighting with you, because every time you shift me, I move it greater. And I realized that. And I had a praying godmother that said to me, it's time for you to come home. All right. And I said, well, come home? Come home where? Because I didn't think I would be back here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I just moved back home in October. But she said, it's time to come home. And at that time, I had shifted, and I said, okay, God, what do you want me to do? He said, well, you said to me you wanted entrepreneurship, so now walk in entrepreneurship, because I've already given you the tools through this corporate job and basketball so that you can run this new shit of entrepreneurship. So in the midst of that, I opened businesses and I did all the things that God had planned for me to do. But see, I was still shifting even in that. And I said, okay, God, now you've given me all these gifts, but I still feel the shift. But this time he said, no, I'm going to allow you to keep these gifts because the season of these gifts are not over yet.
All right.
He said, but we're going to start to shift into the gift of your purpose. So now we're going to move into purpose. So you made the money you need to make, and you build some of the criteria that you need to move forward. So now it's time to shift into purpose. And I said, okay, God, now, am I not working in my purpose and through my entrepreneurial dreams? And he said, you are. But that's your purpose. It's not my purpose. So I moved back home and we started to build businesses here, and those businesses all tied together. And we created DMR, and DMR again is Definitive Movement Rebellion. We wanted to create clothing that had a conscious awareness. And this is during a time when Black men are being killed by police officers every week. And our people are in a war, and our people are moving through this thing, and Black Lives Matter starts to be really popular. So I said, God, where is my purpose in the midst of this shit? What do you want me to do? And he said, now it's time for you to pour back into the community. It's time for you to pour into young people and show them that they all have gifts and they all have purpose. And now your purpose is to give back to them, and what you've been through isn't for you. It is for you to give to someone else, and now it's time for you to use what you've been through to show someone else that all things are possible. And if I can, then you can. If I can, then you can. Because I did not have a pretty childhood, and I don't look like where I come from. I don't look like where I come from when I'm standing here and I'm pouring. I'm pouring my gift into people who need to hear it. So my prayer, when I prayed in the pulpit this morning, was to reach somebody. See, the first gift that I noticed was basketball, but the first gift was life. My first gift that God had given me was life, but I was too young to really understand that gift. But that gift led me to basketball, and then that gift led me to corporate America, and then that gift led me to entrepreneurship, and now entrepreneurship is giving me a platform to pour back. Pour back into our community and give our kids and young people a message that they need so they can be encouraged. So our goal is to provide hope because it's dying. Because all the things that are going on in society, it strips that away from us. And my job and my purpose and my true gift is to pour back.